Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's going to be about another heat transfer vinyl on a shirt. Here you see me, I'm weeding out the vinyl. It's going to be a two-color image, white and red, Darth Vader shirt for Christmas. This particular red vinyl is pretty thick. I can't remember where I got it from, but it's a heavy-duty vinyl. The weeding on the white letters are going to be a little difficult when it comes down to the words because they're very thin lines and you have to take your time not to pull up lines that need to stay. It's for the particular text is a little difficult, so you have to be very careful with weeding the letters. See, like as you can see there, see it left out on the inside of the R there, and then there's another line. Yeah. The key here is to take your time, have patience, and take your time, because you get in a hurry, you're going to mess up the vinyl design. The quote is, "I find your lack of cheer disturbing." As you see there, the inner part of the R came off. The problem with this is I'm not sure with this particular heat transfer vinyl, it's hard to tell which one's got the adhesive on it. So as you can tell later on, you'll see that I'm putting it on the wrong side. Alright, now that the difficult part is completed, we'll just start peeling the rest of this vinyl off the design. With the rest of this, we won't have to go as slow as we did with the wording. I find that if you're just starting out and you don't know what parts to remove from your image, to always have a picture of it up on your computer or somewhere where you can see it. That way you know what to remove and what not to. Because when you start having a bunch of lines and a bunch of details here, sometimes it can get a little confusing which ones to remove and which ones to leave. Now just finish up, get all the little pieces that I missed earlier when pulling off the main stuff here. Just take your time, get every piece out, and be very careful. Sometimes if you have parallel lines running, if you pull one, it'll pull the other one up. So keep that in mind when you're doing all your weeding on a more detailed part of the design. This is what the design is going to look like when it's completed. Alright, so now without further ado, let's go ahead and get the heat press heated up and get this design on the shirt. So like always, anytime I'm doing heat transfer vinyl and I'm pressing vinyl, I always preheat the shirt to get all the moisture out. It makes the adhesive to properly attach to the garment or whatever substrate you're printing on. Just for a few seconds, about 7 seconds is what I leave it in there. And this is messy. This is back during Christmas time, so I had a lot of little orders, one-off orders like this one here to do, so sorry about the mess. One thing different with heat transfer vinyl than screen printing, you don't have your registration marks. Sometimes it can be a little difficult, challenging to line up. You can do like this, what I did with my hands, or you can actually get a tape measure or a yardstick or a ruler and make sure it's in the center. That looks good to me. So let's go ahead and put it in here. And we're not going to press this for the whole entire 35-second. We're going to do it at 306 degrees for roughly about 5 to 7 seconds just to get the vinyl to adhere to the shirt. And this is going to be a cool peel, so we want to make sure when we're doing in between the colors that we cool it down before we peel, otherwise your stuff can come up. And as you see, that R from earlier, I had it in the wrong direction. So no problem, we still can fix it. I'm going to take it off of this transfer paper and reattach it to the direction it needs to go in. This does happen occasionally, but you got to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And here it's not working really well with my finger, so I'm going to grab a hook. So I grabbed a hook here so that way we can get it right in the right place. It's a gamble you take when you have this, when you're doing heat transfer on some complex designs with those lines so thin. The reason why I'm cutting this here is I want to make sure whenever I overlap the colors that it doesn't make a line on the white. So keep that in mind whenever you're pressing two colors together, that it can leave a, when you do the heat press down, when you put the heat press down, it could leave a groove or a line in the one below. So you're going to try to keep it trimmed as good as possible so that way they're not touching if you can avoid that. And I lost it. That's the problem. Some of this heat transfer vinyl has sticky back to it, and some of them does not, and that one did not have one, so no problem. We're going to straighten all this up and get it pressed. So again, we're going to go at 305 for a few seconds. I do this to make sure we get everything I do that to make sure we get everything attached to the shirt properly. Make sure everything's good to go, and then we'll press it for the full time here in a moment. So everything looks good. Let's cool it down. We're going to peel off the transfer paper off of the red now. See, as you can see, even though I cooled down, it started to come up. So you gotta take your time whenever you're removing the transfer paper. Alright, looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get it in here and we'll do another press. This time we're going to do it for the full 35 seconds, or 30 seconds at 305 degrees. Because we want to make sure we get this adhered properly to the shirt. And I also like the Teflon, whenever you're using the Teflon sheets, it gives a pretty cool design to the vinyl. It looks good. Turned out really well. And let's get you a close-up. Okay, the R looks good. We got it attached properly. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. And if you would, please make sure you like and subscribe so that way you can see future content. Anyways, as always, guys, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.